Hi everyone, Gary here, day 17 of 25, talking about raising awareness of mental health. Today's little chat is about love, the word love, what it means, etc. And I don't have all of the information, I don't have all of the details. This is my idea, concept, what I've learnt, what I've seen, what I understand about the word love. And sometimes it means quite a lot of different things. So you have physical love for another person. You have particularly where you might have intimate love with a partner, a lover, etc. You have that connection of love with maybe your parents, with your children, maybe even friends, a deep love for some of your friends. There's definitely been a connection with me, with love, with some of my soldier buddies. Yeah, so there's that sort of connection there where you have a connection. You know, it's love in any other word, because you know you are working with them in extreme conditions, and you'll pretty much do anything to help keep them alive. You know, so there's that sort of love connection there. What I want to talk more about, though, it really is our concept of love for ourselves. And what I mean by that is the love that we have for ourselves. And that might be quite a strange concept. And I'm going to go back to some of the talks that we had right at the beginning about what is it we say to ourselves? What is it that we say inside? You know, our picture of ourselves, our perception of ourselves from our story, and the concept of love starts in us. Okay, and the way that I look at it, yeah. So you've got that love that you have for yourself, and the ways that you show that you love yourself. And I don't mean in an egotistical, looking in the mirror, flicking your hair sort of love. What I mean is the fact that you look after yourself like you would a best friend. And I think possibly the concept of love for others seems to override our love for ourselves. And I understand, you know, being a parent, that the love for my children weighs heavy sometimes, but it is there. And, you know, any of them have an issue, then I'll be there to sort it out and hopefully, you know, nurture them through it because I love them. Okay. You have loved ones that you are connected to, and then they have an issue and you want to try and protect them. You want to try and sort it out. You want to try and take the pain away if they have pain. Okay. And normally we do that at a detriment to ourselves because we invest heavily into that relationship with that other person, maybe. We invest in things that we think will make us feel loved, or maybe unconditional love from something like an animal. Yeah, we might invest into that. And probably animals do display unconditional love to us because if we feed them, they're very grateful. You know, we exercise them. There's a sort of a connection there. But I'm going to go back to this sort of concept of love for ourselves, okay? And if we don't love ourselves, but we love other people, how do we know what that love is? So if we start with the concept of love that we love ourselves, then we can share that love. We can share that feeling. We know what it is. We know what love is for us to other people. But if we don't love ourselves, if we don't like what we see, we don't like how we feel, we think that there's something wrong with us, yeah? Then how can we display and show love to other people? That is that thing that we want back, the unconditional love. So there's a couple of other sort of concepts where love is sort of corrupted, shall I say, for want of another word. And there's nothing wrong with any of this, but it's just looking at it in a different way. So we have dependent love. Yeah, so somebody is dependent on somebody else loving them to feel good. And without that, they don't feel good. They don't feel love at all, okay? You've got codependent love, where you have the love for another person, and then that is reciprocated, but it comes with conditions. Codependency, yeah, so you're depending on that other person to love you, to get it back, etc. Independent love, yeah, as an independent person, independence, yeah, you independently love yourself, therefore it doesn't matter whether other people love you, because you love yourself. You love yourself enough to do the things that you love doing. You love yourself enough to do the things that you know other people love doing. And you do it out of a show of how much you love yourself by sharing that with other people. You love yourself enough to say no. When no is a perfectly good answer, loving yourself enough to draw boundaries so that other people understand that you love yourself enough to say no, and you love them enough to be honest with them so that they have a choice of loving you back for saying no. You love yourself enough so that if you need your own space, if you need your own time, if you need to get away, then you've got that space and time to do it because they love you as you are, not as they wish you to be. And this concept of love being reciprocated starts to sort of keep us in a trap, and sometimes keeps us in a loop of doing things out of duty, not necessarily love, because we feel that that other person will not love us if we don't do that. And that's not fulfilling for you, because you'll end up in a position where you'll start to feel begrudged. You will start to feel that you're being used or taken advantage of, etc., because it's not coming from a place of love. So the concept of love for yourself means that you have total respect for the things that you are doing. You respect the people around you. Those people respect you. And the fact that you have people around you that you feel love for, but from a base of your own love, means that you can share that love. They're not taking from you. You're sharing freely. And the way I look at it is that if you're giving love from a place where you feel a duty to love that person, but not necessarily loving yourself, you're pouring out from a jug of water. And if you don't spend time then replenishing that jug of water, eventually that jug of water is going to empty. And that jug of water takes twice as long to fill if you're pouring it out on other people than it does if you're just pouring it out for yourself. However, if you get to a point where you love yourself and do all the things that make you feel good so that you can then share with others, you feel strong in that feeling that the love that you share is not going to take away from you. Compare that love as the love of a flame. Okay? So if you light an empty candle from a flame, does the flame from the original candle get smaller? No, it just adds to another flame. And the more that you invest in loving yourself, the bigger that flame will build. So the more people can reach over and light their flame from yours, and it has no effect on you whatsoever, because you are freely giving that flame. You are freely giving that love that you share from yourself, because you've built self-love and self-worth. Okay, you value yourself, so therefore you love yourself in a way that you can then share it with more people. And this is one of those concepts that got me really intrigued and interested in personal development, becoming a life coach, looking at mental health, working through a CBT course. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I want to be a CBT practitioner, cognitive behavioural therapy. Working with some of the groups of things that I do, working in the outdoors, and taking people into the outdoors and showing them how nature can make you feel better, that sort of stuff. Adventure, challenge ourselves. Those are the sorts of things that I moved into doing. But I did it after I'd spent a lot of time on healing the feelings that I'd had that I couldn't be loved. That there was something wrong with me because each time I'd loved somebody, they'd let me down. Because when I loved them, I expected something from them. When I loved them, there's got to be a payback. There's got to be something I get back by giving this love away, or else, that's not fair, is it? So until I'd grasped the concept of love is something that you can share, and the more you give it away, the more you get back, because even if that person doesn't send that love back, the fact that you are sharing love means that you feel more love for yourself, because you're sharing this thing that is going to make that person feel better, even if they don't want it. So it's a win-win for you, because you're building this love inside yourself, you're building this self-worth, you're building this feeling that you can share with all these other people, and in lots of many ways, okay? And it doesn't have to be a close connection. It can be as simple as smiling at somebody in the street. It can be as simple as picking a piece of litter up. Yeah, love for the planet. It can be as simple as petting an animal. Yeah, sharing love, giving love. It can be as simple as not posting something negative on Facebook. Simple as that. Yeah? It can be the fact that rather than just going, I can't be bothered to sort myself out before I go for a walk today, I feel great as I am, which is fantastic. You're going to, do you know what? I'm going to put my party pants on today, and I'm going to put a silly hat on. I'm going to make lots of people smile. Maybe that's your thing. Maybe not. I like dressing up in Star Wars gear. Why do I do that? Because A, I enjoy Star Wars as a genre. B, I like dressing up because I'm a big kid. And C, if I do dress up, it makes other people smile. It brings love to other people. So I get love back from that. And do I know these people? No, not at all. But I've invested in myself so that I can generate the feeling of love for myself. And at times it can be a struggle, particularly when you've got lockdown hair and grey beard, etc. And you've done, Joe Wick's PT and yoga and for a walk today, so you're feeling quite creaky. But you've got to love who you are. Because if you don't love who you are, you can't share that love. And you are who you are. That's it. Yeah, as you get older, you're going to get creakier. Laughter lines. Yeah, beauty in the eye of the beholder. All of that sort of stuff. You are the beholder. Love yourself as you are, not as you wish to be. You are who you are. You are now. You can improve yourself. You can always do better. You can always get better, but there's no need to, because you are who you are. You are good enough. Everything is here that you need. You are perfect just as you are. Okay? And that concept of love can create this pool of resource, particularly where we're talking about mental health here. If we're talking about maybe putting ourselves in a situation where we want to help others, we need to look after ourselves first. Remember the analogy about being on a plane. The oxygen mask drops down. You put your own mask on first before you help others. Same with this concept here. If you want to be one of those people that go out there and share your knowledge of how mental health affects people and what things we can do better to help people, then you need to build from here first. You need to feel that self-love so that you are full of that love to give and share with other people. Or else you're going to empty yourself. And that's okay, maybe some people do that, but you're going to get to a point where you then start to suffer with your mental health because you've reached burnout, or you're overstressed, or you feel that you're just doing too much. So I was always told, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Okay, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. It's not work, it's you're doing it out of love. And lots of people get into things in their life and they love them, and then maybe they'll get promoted or they'll move into something else, and it's not actually a work of love anymore. It becomes a duty, and that's okay. That's okay. So we can either do something else or we can love what we do. Again, it's perception. Love what we do. And again, if you're in a situation where you think, well, how can I create love for myself? Go back to those things that we spoke about yesterday. Start with gratitude. Start being thankful for the things that we do have. Start building on the self-talk that we started to speak about, being our own cheerleader. Think about that. If we can't be our own cheerleader, then why would somebody else be our cheerleader? If we can't love ourselves, then how can we display love to other people? Do you think we're unlovable? No, we're not unlovable. But we have to start with ourselves first so that we can actually display this love. We need to be a leader of love. We need to show that love. We need to display the love that we want, if we need that love, to give. And then once we've got love inside us, we don't need other people to love us to love ourselves. It's nice when they do, but we don't want that conditional love. We don't want to say, well, I'll love you, but you've got to do this to love me. Now, I'll love you, and irrespective of what you do, and say, I'll still love you. It'd be nice if you stayed around, but I'll still love you. Bless you and love you and let you go. Okay? So think about this concept here of being your own cheerleader, loving yourself, starting with you. Okay? And if that is what everybody starts to do, guess how much love there'll be out there? There'll be buckets of it for everybody, won't there? We won't have to worry about if somebody loves us, because we know that they love themselves and therefore they're going to share it. So work on this concept of self first. We're programmed sometimes from a very early age not to be selfish, not just for us. We've got to share. Actually, no, we don't have to share. It's nice when we do share, but if we don't have anything to share, how can we share it? So we have to sort of look after ourselves, and I suppose in that old context, be selfish first so that we can be there for others. And I know, particularly if you've got dependents, that's sometimes a challenge. But they can't take up all of your time 24 hours a day. There's got to be some time. And again, saying no is a perfectly good answer. People are not going to die from not having your full attention. People are not going to die from having access to your phone. People are not going to die from, being fed on time, etc. So there's a whole load of boundaries that you can put in place, which is also about loving others, giving them boundaries, because you're setting them up for the future, and also loving yourself, setting up boundaries so that you can then keep that love for yourself, so that when it's big enough, you can share it. Okay? So, I suppose today what we need to do is we need to spend some time with ourselves and think about what we love about ourselves. Love. Use that word love. We should be able to fill pages in our book if we're doing, or notes, or think about lots of things we love about ourselves. Okay? Love our hair. Love our face. Love our clothes. Love the way we help other people. Okay? So it's building on yesterday's gratitude, the things that we're grateful for. We're now looking at what we love about ourselves and using that word love. Okay? We're not allowed to use any other words other than love. We're not to look at negatives. It's all about love. So find out what you love about yourself. Write a big long list and then start working at building that list and building that self-love. Okay? So day 17 done. Tomorrow, not quite sure what we're going to do, but we've got a few things coming up. People have given me some suggestions that from day 21. We've got some suggestions there to fill those days. And I want to sort of spend the time this week building our personal space, our personal message. We've looked at some of the concepts about looking after ourselves, love today, gratitude, etc. I want to build on those, and it may get a bit sort of down the rabbit hole later in the week. That's okay. If it loses any of you, then it's not for you at this moment. But there's lots of stuff out there, and we might even jump into a bit of quantum physics at some point. So be nice, be kind, love you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.